welcome to the Building Insight podcast. My name is Quentin Glenn, alongside my co-host Amy Mareko.
Hello.
Brought to you today by Alchemy Co-working Space, so
Yes.
we're a sponsored podcast. There you go. Our guest today is Jennifer Sanders with Alair Homes. So thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for
Jennifer.
having me.
Yeah. So let's just, we'll kick it right off. Tell us who you are, how you got here, and kind of run us through your story.
Yeah, I'm actually a Charlotte native from North Carolina.
That's rare.
Yeah. I grew up with my father. He was an HVAC technician, and then he owned his own company in Charlotte. Kind of grew up on job sites with him, like being his gopher more or less. He would tell me like what tool he was looking for and what handle color was, and I'd go to the truck and get it, bring it back, and he would just kind of teach me what it did. My uncle was an electrician. The other one was a plumber. My dad's best friend was like a framer and a roofer. So
You guys basically build the house.
Yeah. So I learned a lot just by being with them, kind of going in crawl spaces, running in attics with my father. Like that's how I grew up. So kind of grew up in houses, and I've always enjoyed it. It's just I don't sit still well, so being in front of a computer is not for me 24/7. But yeah, I enjoy it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, name of your company again is Alair Custom Homes.
Yep, it's Alair Homes. Yep.
Alair Homes, got you. Okay. So, how long have you been with them? What do you do for them? Or like kind of what does your career progression look like?
Yeah, so Alair is actually a network of different offices. So we are one of the largest home builders in the U.S. and Canada. We have over 100 offices. We build custom homes. We do renovations, additions. We're in different markets. I used to be a project manager with them. I've been a project manager for several years. I think about 7 collectively, and recently shifted into a business development role.
Okay.
That's more client-facing, more architects, designers, building those relationships with subcontractors. That's more my role now. So yeah.
So what, in the new, the single family world and kind of like the custom home builder world, project manager can mean a couple of different things. Like, are you out on site when you were doing that, or was it more kind of like an administrative? And how did you go from that area to, finding out you wanted to be more on the business development side of things?
So with the Alair Homes, one of the largest things that we have as to our benefit is admin help and back office help. That allows us to give a better client experience overall and focus on the home build. As a project manager, day to day in the field, you're responsible for everything from collaborating with the architects and the designers and the clients to the logistics of managing invoices, orders, quotes, confirming that the quality is accurate where we want it. It's pretty. You're running it like it's your own business as a project manager.
Right.
Granted, you have partners, and with the structure that Alair has, you can partner, and there's opportunities to grow within the company and scale. So that's one of the big benefits I think about being with Alair as a general contractor. But you manage everything. So you're responsible for the client experience, the architect experience, the trades experience, meeting inspectors, making sure those engineering reports are right, that everything's installed properly and up to par.
Do you handle all the scheduling as well?
We do.
Yeah.
Yep. You
That's
handle
a lot.
scheduling, invoices, quotes, sub-agreements. It's whatever we can do to run the project. We're hands in, all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Is it a single person per home? Like, would you be the only one project managing on?
Yep, there's
that
one
project?
dedicated project manager per project,
Okay.
per client. So every client has that one project manager that they go to. We do have lead carpenters on staff that kind of help us in between. If there's certain time crunches that we have, they're very skilled, great people to work with. I've loved working with Alair and those guys. You learn a lot every day. I feel like no matter what you do, talking to people, whether it's the clients or the trades, you're always learning something.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things I think I enjoy is just meeting people and learning what they like, what their passion is, what their goals are, because we can make it happen.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So when you're, and again, I know this is like a past life for you, but it's interesting because, obviously we deal in that world all the time, right? And, different home builders have different ways of doing things. Like when you're running a project, are you running just like a single home at a time? Are you juggling multiple things at the same time, or how does that piece work for you?
It really depends on the scale and the size of the renovations or custom homes. We do everything. Most of what we do is large scale renovations. typically we don't want to overload our project managers, right? So they
Sure.
average about 4 active projects at a time.
Okay.
We typically have a couple in planning, just trying to, you have to build your pipeline and kind of
Yeah.
keep it going. But they still, depending on the size of the project, depends on how many projects they have. There's still a lot that goes into it, no matter if you're doing a bathroom or an addition, a kitchen. We still want the same quality. We still want the same attention. We still want the same client experience. And we want raving fans. So that's our biggest priority. No matter what we do, we want to do it well. We want to do it great. We want to exceed expectations. That way everybody's happy. And we don't do this just to do it for fun. We don't do it. We do it for a passion. I mean, it's passion.
Right, right. You like seeing that client's reaction when they, you're redoing a bathroom, they open up the door and it's just like, wow, oh my gosh, it's exactly what I envisioned of it. But
Yeah, it changes their life. I mean, it's
100%.
it's one of those things that you live with a frustrating aspect of your home. Maybe you live in a great neighborhood, you have great neighbors, you have a great interest rate. We know that's a thing right now.
Yeah.
So you want to stay in your home, but you're frustrated because you don't have enough closet space, or your kids are getting older and you need another bedroom. Whatever that frustration is for you, we can work through it and find the solution for that. And I love that about this project and about this job. You just get to see their life change. You get to see their demeanor change. You get to see the light in their eyes and like the spark in their eyes when they can actually have family in their kitchen because we took a wall down and opened it up and made it a big living space. It's a good gathering space now. So it's good. It's just really, it's really enjoyable.
yeah.
Do you think you'll miss that part of it being in the business development now, or will you still kind of experience that maybe just in a different way?
I'll still experience it in a different way. I still stay connected with the clients through the project, so I kind of have touch points. There's a certain point that I'll stay involved to just to make sure that we have conceptual design going and the project managers filled in on everything we initially discussed, just to make sure it's a smooth transition. And from there, I'll just have touch points along the way to make sure the client knows I'm still there for them. And it's not just me, Roger, the owner. We've got a big support team. We're all here working for you. We're not against you. We're not competing. We are here for you. We want to accomplish the same goals you do, and that's our biggest thing. So I want to make sure along that process and through that process, I'm always a resource. Whether they have questions, a concern, an issue that maybe whatever that may be, I'm always available for the clients.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
yeah. And I still get to see the project come to fruition and
Yeah.
see what it looks like after. I love the before and after.
Just in a different light.
Yeah, just in a different light.
Maybe a little bit less stressful too.
So,
Certain days, yeah.
yeah. So what, I guess, like what prompted that transition for you? Because like being out in the field, like I know my field guys, like if I put them, behind the desk doing more of like that high level work that you're doing now, they'd pull their hair out. So what was it, I guess, that drew you to that side of the work? Was it, career progression, or was it more of a passion? Was that piece of it?
Mostly career progression.
Yeah.
So I have worked for several home builders, and I've done custom homes, I've done spec builds, I've done semi-custom, everything from slabs to walkout basements on helical piers. Just I've seen a lot, I've built a lot. I felt like I was at a point where, yes, I was still learning. I'll be learning till the day I die, but I wanted a new challenge. I wanted to learn more about the business, the operation side of it, and start to grow in that aspect of it so I can look long-term at my career goals. So, and again, the thing about Alair is you can scale and you can grow within the company. There's opportunities that maybe if you worked for like a single owner home builder that wasn't a part of this large network, that it would be difficult to move up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I also think the networking side of it, just from, we don't know each other that well, but we've, met in a couple different events, and I feel like everybody knows you. Like, that's what I was telling you. I was like, literally, I was like drawn to you at the first women's event that I went to, and I was just like, everybody was like, Jennifer, Jennifer, Jennifer. So I think too, on that aspect of it, that's probably really rewarding for you too, because you already are in like this network and everybody knows you. So that's great for Alair as well.
Yeah, and sometimes
those
honestly
connections.
I forget how many people I actually know till I get to these events. I'm like,
Yep.
I didn't even get to talk to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, it's part of it's just coming from Charlotte, knowing the architects and designers, working for so many builders for
That's
so
true.
long, and growing up in the industry. I mean, I've just met so many people through my life that it's been wonderful,
Yeah.
and it's always opening doors for me, and it's always helping me learn new products, new techniques, there's always new things out there.
Yep.
It's just a matter of trying to keep up with them.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Well, just to like kind of dive deeper into that same subject, like what, being from Charlotte, and obviously like you're a part of these large networking groups, and I guess just what role has that played for you in your career progression? Like, what types of opportunities has that presented to you, and what emphasis do you put your like networking in your current role now? Like how important is that to you?
In this role, it's a little bit more needed than as if you were a project manager.
Sure.
In this role, my job is to make sure that, well, I'm going to say it's my job, but I enjoy it so much. It's getting to meet people. It's getting to build those relationships, see how we can help people, whether that's a client, whether that's a trade, whether that's a vendor, a supplier, whatever the case may be. It's just how can we work together? How can we help you? Because there may be things that they need from builders and they're not getting, and that helps me build our brand better and build our business better. When I know what like architects and designers challenges are with builders or design any vendors or suppliers, if I know what their challenges are, I know what we can focus on to make sure we're not doing that or we're doing it better. And that open conversation and communication, I think, is imperative. So I'm huge on communication. I'm probably an over communicator at times, but I think you should have open communication, whether it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think that's what makes me a good project manager. And in this role, in business development, it's just a matter of being honest. Just be you. And, if there's an elephant in the room, call it out and we'll get through it. We just got to talk about it.
Quentin preaches that all the time to our team. Like, pick up the phone. Just make
pick
the
up
call.
the phone.
Pick the call.
Don't avoid it. If there's a problem and you need to handle it, or you're stressed out about something, handle the worst thing first. Get it off your plate. Don't think about it anymore and move to the next stuff. Otherwise, you're going to go through your whole day thinking about this one thing that's like you don't want to do. Just do it. Just
Well,
knock it out.
and like Amy probably just hears this all day long, but it's like, from my perspective, if you're trying to, at the end of the day, everybody's trying to have a good relationship with their client or their vendor or their subcontractor or whatever. But if you're not having the conversation, if you're not steering into the skid, as I like to say, like, then, there's that level of, I don't want to call it dishonesty, but like, you're not being entirely truthful,
Genuine.
right? Exactly. So when there is an issue, I'm much more of a proponent of just saying like, hey, let's pick up the phone, let's call them, say, hey, there's an issue, I'm working on it. I just want to let you know. Don't worry, we're going to take care of it. Because then on the back end, you have also given yourself the opportunity, at least from like the trades perspective, to look like a superhero, right? Because, I'll give you a perfect example. We work for a national home builder, and I think we're going to do like 1,800 homes for them next year. We perform really well on the floors, and they came to us about a year and a half ago, say, hey, do you guys do countertops? We're like, we've never done it before, but yeah, let's go for it. So we started doing countertops, and it's that level of communication that got us that opportunity in the first place. Well, a couple weeks ago, we run into a situation that we've never ran into before, right? They have prefabricated countertops that they're bringing in from, across the Pacific Ocean, and there are no sinks. Like, they have a very specific size sink. It's not a typical 18 by 12. It's a 16 3/4 by 11 3/4. And these are track homes. And, how do we, we're doing a 400 home neighborhood for them. They're out of sinks, right? So it's like, my procurement team, my operations team, like, everybody's like trying to scramble and like, where do we find like these custom sinks? And I just said like, hey, stop. Let's pick up the phone. Let's call our person. Like, we're 3 weeks ahead of when we're supposed to install anyways. Like, they got to know sooner rather than later, but let's just tell them, right? And that way we can cover our ass, basically. So I get on the phone. I have the conversation with my guy who runs that particular neighborhood. Turns out my contact has the answer for me.
And it was easy. Here's the number to
It was
call.
easy. She's like, hey, this vendor who you guys spend like $2-3 million a year with, they also do sinks. Like, you probably didn't realize that, but like, so we just called him up. He was in our warehouse 3 days later, and again, like, the point
Crisis
is like,
averted.
right?
Yes.
Well, my point is like, the client appreciates it because like, I'm coming to them from the space of like, hey, listen, I need you to be aware, because if we got to the day before the install and I don't have a sink, like, you're gonna lose it, right? But it's, she reciprocates exactly what I put into the relationship. So all of a sudden everybody wins, and then we just look better by default. Right. So, and I'm sure it's the same in your world, with the clients and with the trades that you deal with on a daily basis, like you're dealing with somebody's home. It's the biggest financial investment that they're ever going to make. They live in it every single day, right? So there's a level of involvement that they're looking from you, right? They may not care that, the kitchen backsplash tile hasn't come in yet, but if you don't tell them and they're expecting it in there, then you're the bad guy.
Yeah, that's why people say people remember the way you make them feel.
Right.
If you make them feel like you've been dishonest or hid something from them or have ruined something and not told them, that's what they're going to remember. If they remember that you took care of it, you made it happen, and you got through it together, they'll remember that too.
Well, it's construction. I mean, there's bound
gonna
to
be
be a hiccup
something.
or two. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that setting that expectation up front with the client too, I'm sure you guys do that. Like, here's our process. This may happen, but we're going to communicate with you and get through it. So I think in construction in particular, there's going to be something that's going to happen. Like, it's just inevitable.
course.
But it's how you handle it.
Yeah, and one thing about kind of this transition with me being in business development now, you talk about the problems and having trades and vendors and working together, but having those relationships with our market partners, architects, designers, whoever, having those relationships and being able to call on them when you need them or need to work through something. Maybe it works on paper, but it doesn't work in the field, whatever the case may be. I think that's like huge. That's why we value so much, and that's why it's so important for us to make sure we're nurturing those relationships, because we want to keep the quality trades that we have. We know they do good work. We know they show up. They're fair priced. We like who we work with.
No, but I think you're totally right. And like in going back to my very long-winded example that I just gave you, when you have that relationship, like that wasn't my first call to this person, right? Like this lady's in Arizona. Like I've flown out to Arizona 3 different times to meet this lady. She's met the owner of our company. She's met the business development person. She's like the stickiness is there, right? So like when I call her, I have that relationship with her to where she's willing to provide
to help you. Yeah.
Right, because we're in it for the same thing, right? Like she wants to win. She needs to get the house delivered on time. I want to win. I want to get paid, right? So, it's as long as you have those relationships and you really focus on that network, only good things are going to come from it.
We had a guest on here, and in the podcast made a joke about like having those hard conversations, and Quentin had to have a hard conversation with this guest, and I was like, hey, you should start the conversation out with the joke, like, hey, remember that one time when you were on our podcast and we said, oh, there might be a time that we have a sticky situation, and he did, and it was great.
Right but again,
Like,
it's
the relationship,
and that's been kind of like what the beauty of this podcast has really been, is like we get to talk to people who obviously are in our industry, and we like this is just another way we can kind of reinforce that relationship with people, right? It's like just peek behind the curtain as to what building inside is. But again, like it just drops everybody's guard if you, and again, this is what I preach to my sales team. It's like people work with people they like, right? Like you're not working with a trade partner who you absolutely despise or can't trust what they say, right?
Wouldn't do it.
Right. There's 1,000 countertop guys in Charlotte, right? If you don't trust your countertop guy, just post an ad on Facebook and you get 10,000 people ready to run to you. But anyways, I digress. I digress. I'm very passionate
Anybody
about this
could
type
do
of
the
thing.
work, but will they do it well? Will they do it fair? Will they keep up with the quality? Will they show up on time? There's so many questions that go into it when you don't know. But
Well, I mean, and again, from the builder perspective, it's your relationship, right? It's your relationship with the client that they're working through proxy, right? So like how they present themselves is like it's truly a reflection on you, right?
Absolutely.
And kind of going back to something else that you were saying earlier, it's like, your clients a year from now, they're not going to remember the price tag on this bathroom remodel that they did, right? But they will remember, did you show up on time? Was Jennifer easy to talk to? Did she get things done when there was a problem? Like, and it's that emotional feeling that they get when they think of you that they're going to remember, right?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
So, kind of just switching gears because like this is your podcast, not my podcast. In the business development role that you're in, I guess like and I hate to like circle back into like what your job truly is, but it sounds like you kind of wear multiple hats. Tell me, just like explain to me a little bit more about what it is that you do and like what your favorite aspects of your current role are.
So my job is really to meet and like initially meet clients, have a phone conversation, just see if we're a good fit to work together, see if it makes sense to work together. Then we kind of just go through a couple processes to talk about how we operate, learn more about them and their project, their family, their goals. Again, just to make sure we're in alignment. And then my job is to really make sure that they know what to expect and have a reasonable range. So what I say is, anybody can come in and give you a number, they can give you a low number, but what is that number really worth? So we like to meet them, go through the house, and we like to figure out a range of what we think it's going to cost based off of historical data and projects that we've had, and we kind of take that just to see if it makes sense for them, because what we don't want to happen is we don't want them to go have plans fully designed and then come back to find a builder and learn, oh, well, this is like way over my budget. Now I have to pay the architect again to redo the plans. So we like to be involved as early as we can and kind of collaborate with the architect and the designer to build that out based on their budget and their goals. That way they're not redesigning and they're not wasting time or money. So that's really the main thing. We build out scopes of work. I help get all that together and kind of build a team. So I'm the one building the team with the client, the architect, the designer, bringing everybody together to make sure that project's set up for success. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It does,
100%. Yeah, I mean, you basically qualify the opportunity,
Yeah.
right? Like, is this, and what is this? I mean, dollar wise, like, what is it worth? But like, more importantly, like, is this something that aligns with like what Alair does?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, when we go into this, sometimes we don't even have a full idea, or we have 10 ideas. We don't even have a drawing on a napkin. So pricing some of that stuff is just, to do that with no information is kind of irresponsible. So we try to give that range just so they understand, like, your cabinets can swing $50,000, $100,000 difference.
That's crazy.
Your countertops, your tile, you take all these things into account and it adds up.
Oh yeah.
So, I try to get in there and I try to understand a little bit about their taste, what they're expecting as far as like their appliance package or what kind of cabinets they want, what's important to them, like what are their non-negotiables. That helps me kind of direct, what designers would be a good fit, what architects would be a good fit, understand their timeline a little bit better. That way we can plan out exactly what that schedule looks like, and give them the best reasonable expectation possible. So
Do you have designers and architects that work directly for you, or is it like contracted out?
it's all contracted out. So
Okay.
we do partner with market partners, architects and designers. We don't have anybody on staff, but we have really good relationships built, and we've worked together with several in the area.
Yeah.
Again, like you go to these networking events, they know me.
Yep.
But we've worked with several of them. We've got really good relationships with them. We know how they operate. They know how we operate, and we collaborate along the way. So it's been a really good fit because, there are some projects where maybe the timeline doesn't work out, or maybe the style doesn't work out, whatever the case may be, or even personality differences you have to kind of take into account sometimes. And we try to build that team to be an advocate for the client. That way everybody's jiving together and we're accomplishing the same goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Definitely. This may be a loaded question, and you may have different answers for like your time as a project manager and your time in your current role right now. But is there a specific type of project that you like working on the most?
Me personally, I love historical renovations. Like that is my jam.
Yeah.
I just really enjoy the character of old houses, the old bones. I love the way that they were framed. I just love the character that homes used to have, and some still do. Like we can still recreate it, but historical renovations are my thing. I love them.
That's awesome.
I love them.
And is that the answer as like project manager, Jennifer, too? Because like
That's all of me.
Oh, okay.
I'm all about historic renovation.
Because I'm sure that just opens you up to like a litany of on the site, like, oh gosh, we didn't think that this was going to be quite like this, so we got to change this a little bit. Like, it's that.
That's the part that I enjoy so much. Like, I love the challenge. I love every project is different, every client is different, every wall that we open is different, every foundation is different. No matter how you build it, every job is different, and it's just you're learning something every time you turn around, and the challenge is part of the fun because that's where you learn and that's where you grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how you have to take it. And again, like, we lean heavy on our trade partners to help us like work through some of these challenges, but you can learn so much if you just listen to people and just ask the questions. Pick up the phone, call somebody. If you don't know the answer, don't tell them you know the answer. Don't make up an answer. Just go figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find the who, not the how.
That is the fun part for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love. We do new homes and renovations, but I think that's why I love renovation so much, just because you have to figure out how it affects the existing structure and how it ties into the house, and you don't want it to look like it's just added. If it's a 1930s home and you're adding an addition on the back, you don't want that to look like it's just built in 2025. You want that to blend. You want it to look like it was intentional and part of the home from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I love all of that goes into it.
Yeah. Sounds exciting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a good question.
That was a good question.
But did you see? Did you see the way her eyes like
you
lit
lit
up?
up.
Like she knew the answer right away, and like that's a mark of somebody who just like truly enjoys what they do, right? Some people, like, if they're not loving it, they're like, yeah, I don't want to do. Like, again, I would be a terrible project manager, right? Because I would see all of that and I'm like, no, thank you,
Bye-bye.
right? Like I get, but in my role, like I'm the CEO of the company. When I put processes and procedures in place and see how this little tweak turns this little knob over here, and that's what excites me, right? But I can go off the exact same way as she did on that for again just how my brain works, right? And then the same thing can be said for Amy, right? When we talk about she's over here setting up her interface, right? And she's like clicking on this and making sure, like tweaking the cameras, like again, but she could go off in the same way. So I think it's really cool when we find what that is for each person. I'm moving into an old house in Arizona. Maybe I should call you up. That'd be awesome.
Give me a call.
Hey? Yeah. So I guess obviously there's no, who knows what the future holds or anything like that, but on your current trajectory, like what's like the 10, 15, 20 year plan for you? What does your career look like as you obviously continue to grow?
I would love to continue learning about Alair as a whole and probably go into a partner role. That's my next step. That's what I'm really focused on progression wise, and then potentially have 2 or 3 offices. Yeah, that would be my goal.
How long have you been there currently?
Combined about 7 years.
Oh wow.
I moved away and went to Raleigh and came back.
Yeah.
But that was a transition.
Yeah. Didn't know what you had until you left it. So one of the things that I just always like to ask, kind of as we wind this down, you've obviously had a varied career path, and you're clearly very passionate about what it is that you do. If you were to look back and give any advice to younger you on maybe mistakes that you made, or ways for you to improve on what you were already doing, what would that advice look like?
I would honestly, I would probably say that I've held myself back the most in my career, thinking maybe I couldn't do something, and telling myself I couldn't do something when I can. And being a little bit older now, I know that, but younger me wasn't as confident. Younger me took on the challenges, but maybe wasn't as confident in my decision making and my progression with things moving forward. So I would have moved the ball faster in my career path. I think I was my biggest hang up for myself. And just get out of your own way. Get out of your head. Do what you know you're good at and keep going. Just keep going.
Do you think being a woman in the construction industry kind of egged that on a little bit?
When I was younger, yes, definitely. When I was younger, it was a lot. I mean, you go on these job sites and it's almost like as a woman you would have to prove yourself 3 or 4 times harder than any man walking on a job site would. When a man would walk on the job site and I'd be teaching them. So it's it's just kind of backwards, but
Yeah.
you had to prove yourself as a woman, especially being a younger woman. I mean, I've just been in the industry for so long. It was like a constant battle to prove myself to someone, prove my worth to someone, and that's not the goal. Like, that is not my goal. I know what I can do. I know my value. If that does not resonate with people, that is okay. But I know where I stand and I know what I'm capable of.
Amen, sister.
And I think that just having confidence in yourself and your abilities and like always learn, always grow. If you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up over it. Learn from it. If you're not learning from it, you need to change industries.
You won't do it again.
Yeah. You won't do it again.
Yep.
People make mistakes. It's construction. It's gonna happen. But go easy on yourself. Give yourself some grace. Just do right. Do what you know is right by you, the client, everyone involved. Just do the right thing. Be a good person.
I love that.
All right, awesome. Well, Jennifer, again, thanks for joining us. I really enjoyed this conversation. Again, for Amy Mareko, and I'm Quentin Glenn. Thanks for joining Building Insight.
Yay!